Hey yo, welcome to the wonderful world of HungryHeath. Now I am not a classically trained chef. What I am is a self-taught home cook. I have studied under several television chefs. I have a PhD from YouTube University and a black belt in Google Food. I love to cook. The only thing I love more than cooking is my wife, the sensational Shelly Eats Steak. Together we host what we like to call the Friday Night Feast. Now this happens every Friday night, 6:30 Central. We'll cook up an entree, maybe a couple little snacks. We'll show you all how we do it, and then we just sit around afterwards and just chew the fat with all of our friends in the Hungry Horde. We have a blast every Friday night. We look forward to having y'all join us sometime. Today's recipe video is a Shelly-inspired concoction came up with her own. I had nothing to do with this, but I'm super excited about it. I've been at work all day. She's been slaving away, packing for our upcoming cruise, and then cooking dinner for us. And what do you got? What do you got for us, baby?
Well, it's not a new recipe. This is, I would call it a classic. I used to make it before we were keto.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's heard of it. Just stuffed bell peppers. Of course, we're going to keto-fy it because the traditional way, usually the stuffing is mixed with rice.
Oh, that's right.
And ground beef, right. But how I'm doing this one is, of course, get your bell peppers. They were on sale. That's why I'm like, okay, what's on sale that's low carb, right? What can I make with it? So we got these great bell peppers on sale, and it just, to me, stuffed bell peppers is just the perfect dish. So, and we're going to make these real easy, great filling dish. A good way to get some nice carbs in that are low carb, but yet tasty. And then for my ground beef, I'm just going to season it with Italian seasoning, some salt, pepper, or garlic as well. And then our Kirklands Marinara. And that'll give it a real Italian flavor to this. Now, I've seen different iterations. You can make it like hamburger flavored, barbecue flavored. There's so many different ways. But I thought today would just be kind of classic Italian stuffed bell peppers.
Awesome.
Well, let's get started.
I'm hungry. Let's go.
What you will need for this easy recipe, it's such a classic dish, right? You need bell peppers. Now we have 4 here, so you could easily adjust this between 2, 4, 6, however many. Each bell pepper will make 2 because I like to slice them in half and then have 2 halves to serve. And then I've got my ground beef. You can use any you want. This was on sale and it was 80/20, but it's on sale. Generally for something like this, I would use a little leaner beef because you're going to stuff the bell peppers. And then some marinara. Now we're using the Kirklands brand. It's about the same equivalent as Rayo's, but it's cheaper. But use your favorite marinara. And then some porking good pork rinds. We're using the Italian. Just thought that would be good to put on top. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. But it's good to put on top afterwards. And then for Heath, of course, he's going to want mozzarella on his as well. And then you'll need a pot of boiling water and a skillet as well to ground the beef. And then, of course, your favorite Italian seasoning blend to flavor the meat with that. So, of course, wash your bell peppers. And these, what I like doing it this way is you don't really have to worry about having a level bottom. Like this one is turned to the side. So a lot of recipes, you cut the tops off and then fill it and put them standing up. But see if you got some that are, that's my oven, y'all. If you have them where they're lopsided or just not a good bottom, then that makes that recipe a little harder. So this way, I like to do is you just cut in half like that, and then I'm going to put them on their sides. Cut that in half, and then the part that's inside here, you're just going to cut that out Probably get you a smaller knife to do that. And you'll just pull out the inside seeds so that you have plenty of room for stuffing. Kind of grab underneath there. I saw this TikTok hack for cutting bell peppers. Now it wouldn't work because we're stuffing these, but if you were to actually cut like a bell pepper because you want to use it up for like the fajita vegetables or just to dice up on your own, how you can do that is you take the bottom, and this is your guide, and you would just slice here, so at each of the places, so whether you've got a 4 or a 3, you just slice, that's your lines, and then you just pop it, and it leaves perfectly where it takes out the center core, and you're left with all of the meat that we like to have. So if you try that, let me know how it worked for you. Again, it wouldn't work really well for this recipe because we want it kind of intact. We want that nice little pocket, right? And then I've already got my water boiling. I don't know if you could hear it, but I could hear it on here. The water is boiling. And what I'm going to do is just stick these in the boiling water for about 2 minutes. Just enough to kind of soften them. I don't like mine where they're just like falling apart. I do like to have a little bit of crunch in them. So, you know, if you're wanting them real tender, they fall apart, then maybe you go for like 3-4 minutes. But for me, 2 minutes tops. Basically just going to throw them in the water, pull them out, and put them in a nice baking dish. What I want to do first is find my baking dish and make sure these are all going to fit in there how I want. Now this one's actually a little, probably too big, but you know, get one that's a good size to fit these in. And then you already see my water's going. So I've got it on high. I'm just going to drop these in there. Then I'm going to turn the water off because I don't need it to keep boiling. These are only going to take a couple moments. So my baking dish, I'm just going to give it a quick spray with some avocado oil just because I don't want anything to stick. Perfect. And then with these, also the good thing about them being halved, a little bit easier to get them to drain. I take that. Let's get another one. And again, you can do them for 3 to 4 minutes, just depending on how tender you like yours. Make sure you drain all that water out. And I should have one more. There we go. I'm just doing enough for tonight's dinner, which is going to be 2, or basically it's 1 whole bell pepper, but 2 halves. And this kind of dish looks like you're getting a lot by serving it as halves, when really each pepper will probably hold about 3 to 4 ounces of meat. So let's move on to actually cooking up the meat. Got my meat in the skillet. I'm just going to brown that up. When we get a little closer to being done, then I will add in my Italian seasoning mix and then some of that marinara. So now my ground beef is already browned up. Everything's cooked. I'm leaving the grease in there. Now, if you want to drain it off, have at it. I keep all the fat. I know this is pretty fatty, but it is kind of cooking off. And I'm not using all of this. This was a little over 2 pounds. I'm not going to need that much tonight. So I want to keep the fat in there so that when I go to reheat the rest tomorrow night, it'll still have all that good fat. That'll keep this moist and delicious. So to this, I'm going to add this marinara. Now it's 6 carbs for every half a cup. So I'm just kind of roughly measuring here. So since I figure we're going to get 4 servings out of this, I'm going to do, so that's 2 servings total. So I'm going to do 1 more there. And let's get it mixed up, rather. Now I'm trying to do this with my left hand, y'all. So that was 3 servings of the marinara. But this is going to be at least 4 servings between us. This much meat and the marinara. I'm just trying to stir this together. Get it all in there. I like this marinara from Kirklands because you do see the chunks of the tomato in there. And you get 3 jars for, I think it's like $8.99 versus the Rayo's is 2 jars for $11. So I definitely feel like this is a better value. And it's the same carb count as Rayo's. So, I mean, 6 total carbs for a half a cup. I feel like that's a pretty good ratio there. I am going to go ahead and add 1 more serving of the marinara. Kind of add that in there. And then stir it up some more. And then I'm just going to let this kind of simmer so it can all kind of work together. All the seasoning I added and all this marinara sauce, and let it just kind of be on low for probably about 10 minutes or so. And then I'll start stuffing these peppers. Get my oven set at like 350. And then we'll be able to bake these in the oven. Alright, this is all ready. I've let my meat kind of stew here for a good 10 minutes. So I'm just going to start filling these. I do like to use a spoon. I just find it's easier to kind of get those in the crevices. And I do have it on a scale, so just for when I track my macros, I'm a little more knowledgeable on how much meat is in each one. Okay, it's right there. So you get about 2, maybe 2.5. But I am trying to pack these in, so I've tried to get closer to 3 ounces each. There we go. Perfect. And then fill these other ones. And if a little bit gets out, no big deal. And I'm okay with some of the fat being in with this because, again, fat's flavor and fat is good for you. So it's okay to have that good beef fat kind of mixed in. And I do like to overfill mine just because I like to really get it stuffed full of meat. Okay. I'm just kind of pushing in there, right? Push that. Okay, good. So now let me show you how I'm going to top it. Now I like to put just a little more of the marinara on top. So this is basically 1/4 of a cup. Just to put a little more of that yummy tomato seasoning and flavors there. I like it to be real creamy. And of course I went a little more on those other 2, so that's fine here. Alright, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use those breadcrumbs. Well, not bread, obviously. The pork rind crumbs by Porking Good. This is the Italian style. See there? And again, with the spoon, kind of Put those on top. This will just give a little crunchiness on top, especially if you're dairy-free. Like I'm trying to stay relatively low on dairy. This is a way to kind of have a crunchy top and not miss the dairy so much. I'm going to do a little bit on here for Heath. And then plus the Italian breadcrumbs will add a little bit more of that Italian flavor to the overall dish. And then the last thing, and this just for Heath. This is optional. It's up to you. But he does have some mozzarella cheese. So on his, it's going to give a good amount of mozzarella cheese there. That there. We move mine a little over. Oh, cheese getting everywhere. But just give him, you know, a good amount of cheese, however you want. Heath never tracks anything, so that's why I don't really measure on him on how much he's getting of any one item, because he just basically eats. All right, this is good. So I'm going to put it in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes at 300 degrees. I mean 350. Correction, 350 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. So it's all plated up. Now, I would recommend finishing under the broiler, especially if you do cheese, just to really toast up the cheese on top. Just gives that little finishing, and which is what I did to Heath.
Looks good.
Right? And there's enough. We get to have this again tomorrow night.
Nice.
Now, we're serving it with our pork belly Brussels sprouts. Y'all tell me, what would be your favorite side to go with this dish?
Steak.
All right. So, did you already try, or you just ate the cheese?
The burnt cheese.
Yeah. Okay. So, again, mine, I just put a little more of that marinara, and then the pork panko.
Look at that.
It's good. The bell pepper is still the crunchiness I like. Again, I don't like it to where it's so soft that it just dissolves. I do like a little crunch, kind of al dente, if you will. You definitely get the Italian seasoning from the Italian seasoning blend. We just kind of make our own. And then the marinara put in there. And he's going to take it up by adding some evil ooze. That would work too. And I like the pork panko on top. Does kind of give that little extra crunch on top, if you will.
It's almost time for a new bottle.
This is good. And then, you know, bell peppers. We don't have those too often. So again, when they're on sale.
You want a little?
No, I'm good. When they're on sale is the perfect time to take them. So tell me, what do you do with your bell peppers? Do you buy bell peppers? I know not everybody's a fan of them. They also had the different colored bell peppers on sale, but they were still a little more expensive. That would definitely make this a little sweeter if you get like a red or orange or yellow. So it's, what do you think of the flavors?
I think it's amazing. Really good.
That's delicious, y'all. Well, thank you so much for this video and watching it. I hope you'll make some. Definitely, if you do, or any of our recipes, please tag the HungryHeath on Instagram or HungryHeath on Facebook, and then that way you can be part of the Chef of the Week that we feature every Friday night on our Friday Night Live, which brings me to...
Don't forget to tune in, as she said, every Friday night, 6:30 Central, for the Friday Night Feast. And while you're over here watching me salivate over this fantastic plate of food, make sure you click that thumbs up for me, please. Leave us a comment. Tell me if this is something you're going to make. Tell your friends. Let's grow the horde. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.